This is Isabelle again. I'm going to teach you some Syntonics, aka thinking body. So if you've watched the first video, you might remember a bit what this is about, but here's a few reminders. So this work is about feeling, sensing what is happening in your body to give you agency and feel what you're doing. Because a lot of the time we think it's happening to us, but we're actually doing something. I'm actually raising my shoulders, or I'm holding my breath, and once I can feel I'm doing it, I can stop doing it. Gives me some choices. We're also investigating our habits and see how we have other choices to really enhance or broaden the range of our physical experiences. So remember, it's not about achieving, it's about feeling, discovering or rediscovering, and coordinating. I'm going to lead you through some test positions, that's how we call them. But these test positions also are a workout for your nervous system and for your whole organism, for your whole body. Okay? So let's start with, so you'll need a mat to lie down today. We're going to go to the floor, but we'll start standing. So just to come in contact with ourselves right away, eyes open or closed. Personally, I like starting with my eyes closed with this beginning because I feel there's so much visual information that when I start, I need to dim that and just pay attention for a couple of minutes to what's happening in my body. So your feet are in a wide stance and a bit wider than your hips if possible. Although right now I'm comfortable in this place. And just see how you're standing right now, what this feels like to you. You could pay attention to your breath. How's your breath right now, today? And how are the different parts of your body stacked on top of your feet? Something you could also pay attention to is the amount of effort you feel while you stand. And at this point, if you notice you feel you're making too much effort, I would like you to go to not correcting it, but seeing if there's anything you could adjust to find more ease in this standing. For me right now, it's to let go of my glutes and turn out my knees a bit more. This gives me a bit more of a foundation to stand on. And as I do that, I notice that my neck is longer. So see for yourself if this changes anything. So would you pay attention as well to what you're doing with your neck? Are you digging your chin into your neck? Can you let that be? And just let the light come to your face. Let it come to you. And soften your eyes even if your eyes are closed. So a soft gaze. Notice if there's any effort that you're doing somewhere. For example, if you're pulling your lower back or you're clenching your glutes. So could you stop doing that and somehow redirect that effort somewhere else? Where does that effort need to be? So when you're ready, you're going to gently open your eyes, let the light come in slowly so that it's not a shock. So this might feel very, everything's very soft, very gentle. It's not something that you want to fabricate, although at first you might have to override what you usually do. But if you could just notice, oh, I usually just open my eyes and I'm looking. And if you could just soften and just notice how you do it, usually your habit, just try something different, okay? Just to refine the amount of sensation that you can receive and that you can pay attention to, okay? So from here, just take a few steps and just walk around a little bit. Hey, Skelly. Hi. I forgot to introduce him. I'm so sorry. Skelly's always with us. So a few steps. Just notice how you're walking. Yeah, and then come back to your spot. I'm going to lead you through something that's called the BESS, the Balance Error Scoring System. So it's something that physios use for retraining and retraining balance and et cetera. It's also something that came from way back, and Elsa Gindler had some work like this in the 1920s that was related to this. So we're going to start. So this is how it works. I'm going to ask you to put your hands on your hips. I'm going to explain a bit first. And then I'm going to ask you to bring your feet together. So we'll go through 4 positions. You're going to close your eyes, and for 20 seconds, you're going to go for 20, 30 seconds with your eyes closed, keeping your balance. You might want someone to spot you at home. I do it, so you know yourself. I do it by myself, and I don't fall, and I've never hurt myself, so there's very little possible of injury when you do thinking body Syntonics. But if you're concerned with your balance, you might want to be closer to a wall to grab onto it if you need to, because we are going to do this eyes closed. Okay, so the first position is going to be feet together. Then you're going to keep your eyes closed. You can briefly open your eyes. Then we're going to do 1 foot lifted off and 1 foot lifted off the other foot. And then we're going to place our dominant leg. So your dominant leg is the leg that you kick the soccer ball with. You're going to place it in front of your other foot. So your heel touches your toes. You're going to spread your weight equally in between both feet. You're going to stand there for 20 seconds. You know, we're doing this very simply. You could challenge yourself more at some point when you redo this exercise and use something, a balancing thing or something squishy to make it a bit more challenging, okay? So let's do it. So hands on your hips. You're gonna put your feet together, stand there, and you're gonna go for 20 seconds with your eyes closed. Just notice, is this effortful? Are you wobbling quite a bit? And just let your system work itself out. So it's a bit of a workout. Nice work. Gently open your eyes. And let's just keep going. So you're going to lift 1 foot off the floor and you're going to close your eyes. So you see, this is a bit more challenging for me. Just let your system adjust. Try to breathe simply with the least effort possible. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. I was clenching my jaw, so it kind of helps if I let that go. Notice what you're doing with your neck as well. If you're digging your chin in, that might influence your balance. And you could open your eyes, put your foot down, and then lift your other foot. And close your eyes. We're going to go for another 20, 30 seconds. just keep going. So you're keeping your foot off the floor as much as possible. And you might wobble quite a bit, like I just did. And then we're gonna finish with the foot in front. So your dominant leg, the one you kick the soccer ball with, you place it in front of the other foot. The heel touches the toes. You're gonna spread your weight on both feet. Close your eyes. See what happens. Notice what you're doing with your breath. Are you holding your abdomen? See if you can soften your shoulders, shoulder blades, your neck. And you could open your eyes. Yeah, put your foot on the floor, so feet parallel. Go back to your standing. See how you're standing now. Notice if there's any difference with when we first started standing. So I'm just going to name what I'm feeling. You can do the same for yourself. You could go and write afterwards anything that you've noticed that was surprising or that you noticed. It could be very simple, so it doesn't have to be complicated or extraordinary. Just what you felt. So I'm noticing that there's more activity in my quads. So I'm using my quads more to stand, and I feel more space at the front of my body. So I feel taller. I kind of need to feel taller. Take a few steps. So take a few steps. See how you walk now. And if you're in your home, where you probably are right now, this is a good opportunity to visit your habits in your home. So as soon as we're in our home, we have all these little pathways that we're always, from the kitchen to my bedroom, and from bedroom to the living room, and so just see what changes when you're sensing your body differently in your own space. All right. And I'm repeating myself, but you can always afterwards, you can go and write this down, or you can pause the video, take a few notes for yourself, because our work here is to sense, but it's also to bring it to your awareness, to your consciousness, so that you start noticing more and more, and you have more and more agency in what you're actually doing. So we spent so much time standing. I think we could go to the floor now. So just go to the floor, and you're gonna lie down. Eyes, let's start with I have very bright lights above me, so I'm gonna close my eyes. If you're at home, my preference would be that you keep your eyes opened for different reasons. So you're gonna keep your eyes open, and but I'm gonna have my eyes closed. Okay, so just lying on the floor, you're gonna feel what kind of imprint your body's making in the floor. So we've had several test positions that were happening standing, and now we are going to a test position that is on the floor. So you just want to feel and sense how your body is lying on the floor, so that you get an image or a map of what this looks like. For example, if you were lying on in the sand, where would be the valleys and the mounds if you were to get up, and what kind of drawing would be left in the sand of your body lying there? And again, it's not about correcting, it's about adjusting. So If you notice you're making an effort or you're feeling funny in some way, see if there's a little modification or adjustment that you could do, especially lengthening your spine towards the head and towards, as if you're growing towards your head and beyond. Notice where your neck is, your jaw. And then how are your legs lying on the floor? Are they spilling out or falling out like mine right now, sort of? And how does your torso feel on the floor? And of course, your breath. So you might notice quite a bit of difference in between both sides. I can speak a bit what I'm sensing for myself so that you can do it for yourself. Never hesitate to pause the video to spend some time, a bit more time noticing. A regular class would take 90 minutes, and I'm teaching you for 20 minutes. So take the time you need to go through these sensations. So right now I'm feeling way more pressure on the left side, but at the same time I'm feeling as if my left side is lifting. And whether this makes sense, what I'm saying or not, is irrelevant. What's important and relevant is what you're sensing and how you're putting this into your awareness through your words and through your noticing. So at this point, I'm gonna ask you to bend your knees. So you're gonna slide your feet one at a time so that your knees are bent. And I'm lengthening towards my head because I feel there's more space now in my torso. After lying for a few minutes like this on the floor, there's a loop that's happening in myself, in my organism. And I'm starting to readjust. My nervous system is activated. What kind of position you're looking for with your legs is you're looking for a place where your leg could stay there forever. So you want to feel the least effort possible. And so at this point, I would like you to notice whether your knees are falling in, whether you feel like you're pulling your belly forward and your back is arching. So if you could flatten your back a bit more. And if your knees are falling out, how's that affecting your lower back? So maybe play a little bit with your knees, just going a little bit further out. See how that feels, and a bit further in, dropping them in. And then let them sit where you feel is the middle. So I want to feel my femurs dropping directly into my hip bones. So you could locate your hip bones by touching them. And the femur is dropping right here, and the ball of the femur is joined with the hip bone. And there's something we can do to help with placing these legs in the most optimal position. So we're going to slide one heel at a time, and we're going to do this one leg at a time. So just stay on one leg until you're finished. So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to slide my heel away, sensing that connection with my sits bone, and then I'm going to bring my foot back. Hopefully your mat can stick on the floor like mine, because you want to drag your foot. You don't want to be lifting your foot. Okay, you don't want to be lifting your foot as you bring it back. You want as much as possible to just drag it on the floor, as if there's an elastic. So do that a few times, as if there's an elastic, and I want you to feel a line between your sits bone and your heel, and you're going to pull your heel back as if you're pulling this elastic from the sits bone. And then you're going to just let your leg rest there and see if this is more restful than when you first pulled them up. Then you're going to pull that heel away, or push it away on the other side, and pull it back. A few times, drag your foot, lazy, lazy, lazy. So sometimes when you start doing this work, you notice you're efforting. So I just noticed, for example, as I'm pushing this heel away, I was lifting this side. So I'm gonna make sure that both sides of my pelvis are dropped into the floor. And as much as possible, my lower back is lengthened and my back is long on the floor. I'm gonna drag that foot back. There you go, and leave it. Let that be. See if that feels a bit less effortful. And you might remember from the previous class that we were standing and moving, rocking your pelvis. So moving the pubic bone forward, or the tailbone towards the front, or now towards the ceiling. And then letting the pelvis spring back and rolling the pelvis on the out breath, letting it spring back. And so on the out breath, you're gonna lengthen your lower back, pressing your waist and your lower back a bit in the floor, bringing your pubic bone up and your tailbone towards the ceiling. And then you're gonna let that spring back. So this work in anti-gymnastic and Syntonics, this work is often done with a ball wedged underneath your sacrum and your tailbone. I think it's still worth doing the work without these props. You could always maybe use a sock to do that, to create a bit more of a wedge of your pelvis. But since we're working with nearly nothing in a very, very simple way, this work can be done as well without anything. So on your out breath, you're gonna roll your pelvis towards the floor, so towards your waist, so that your lower back has more contact with the floor. And then you're gonna let it spring back on your in-breath. Do that a few times. And notice how much work you're doing elsewhere to make this happen. So what you're working towards is to have the least effort happening anywhere else. So there is no strain in your abdomen. As much as possible, your neck is long and you're not digging your chin into your neck. Do this a few times. So you're not pulling in your abs as you're doing this. Okay, there's different techniques where you're asked to do that, but that's not what we're doing right here. We're rolling the pelvis and figuring out a way that will use the least muscle possible. And why are we doing this? That is such a good question. I'm sure you're all wondering why we're doing this. We're investigating the range of movement of our pelvis and how we can move this and increase the mobility and the sensitivity of this very important foundation in our torso and our body. The pelvis receives all the weight of the upper torso and the upper body, and at the same time transmits this weight to your legs when you're standing. So the more gripping there is around the pelvis, the least sensation and the least subtlety and ability to adjust we have. So we're rekindling or rediscovering the subtlety that we can feel in our pelvises. So again, as when we're standing, we want to explore the range of this movement. So breathing out and breathing in. And you could always pause the video and explore this by yourself for a few more minutes. We're going to stop now. And just rest on the floor and see how your torso lies now, or how you're lying on the floor with your torso. How's your breath on the floor, in your ribs? Do you notice any difference between the right and the left of your whole body? And you could always stretch out your legs, lie. See how you're lying now. Is there any difference from when you started? And then you're going to roll to your side. And take your time as you get up. Roll to your side first. And then you're going to make your way to standing and spend a few instants with yourself, a private moment, just to assess or feel how it is to move from the floor, lying on your back, to standing. So I'm going to do that right now. Just a brief passage here. And when you get up, look for a way to get up that requires the least effort in your body. And then just stand for a little bit, wherever you are. Again, your gaze has not been very solicited when you were on the floor. So let that reintegrate into your life, your experience. And you could take a few steps around the room. Just stand. Notice any difference in your body, in your standing. You could go and write a few things about this. And that's it for our second class. Thanks so much for being with me and for spending time with your body and yourself. Next class will be on the floor again, and we will be investigating our midline, which we started to do today. So my name is Isabelle, and I'll see you for the next Syntonics, aka Thinking Body class. Thank you.